Hey folks, it's me, Aubby, and in case you didn't know, my friends and I made a little mod called Sonic Fibbage, and today, I'm excited to announce its latest update that adds in a bunch of new questions.
Alright, here we go. First question.
In the latest Aubby episode, Aubby placed the game Blank, a Sonic fan game notorious for its controversy.
What a great question. If we know anything about this Aubby guy, is that he loves to talk about Sonic Fibbage, so that's going to be my answer.
Man, you're putting questions for everything in this thing. That's cool. This is a Sonic Omens video, isn't it? I swear to God.
Sonic Omens f***ing sucks. Every time I go out in public, I wear my signature I Hate Sonic Omens t-shirt. Sonic Omens is a game that has garnered a lot of controversy, yet has still gathered a significant fan base for some reason. Yeah, Sonic Tubers will cover this game, but Sonic Fibbage. Sonic Fibbage has the fusion of Sonic and Shadow as an in-game host. What does Sonic Omens have that my fan project doesn't? What the f***? Sonic Omens, formerly known as Sonic 2020, released on Game Jolt on February 14th, 2020, developed by Ouroboros Studios, who were previously known as Mania Team. The team released the game in episodic format, with the final episode releasing and thus completing the game on August 10th, 2022. I remember seeing some hype for the game. Everyone was super excited for what was to come with this future Sonic project. It showed a lot of praise and passion, but closer to release was when the whole controversy aspect started to kick in. A lot of things started to hammer down on the perspective of Sonic Omens, from the game being for profit via Patreon funding to the dev team actually making fun of their own voice actor having difficulties with the game. I played Sonic Omens before, and I can promise you with certainty that it's extremely hard. This isn't your typical Sonic excursion. This will put your loyalty to Sonic Omens to its paces. But I wanted to see if the devs gave this game the chance to shine. The version I'm going to check out is their latest version 3.2.0. I've only ever played the release version of the game, so here I wanted to take the chance to finally try what Ouroboros Studios thinks is their final perfected version of Sonic Omens. There's a lot to talk about with this game, but let's just take a look at this game with a fresh pair of eyes as we play Sonic Omens. The game opens up with an outdoor view that leads the camera down to Sonic and Tails' possessions. How to use copyright. I don't think they read that book all the way through. Amy sends us a text as the camera pans through, and I promise you this won't relate to the story in the slightest. The camera also pans on this picture of Sonic and what looks like to be a gun scientist right beside him. He looks familiar, but I can't really put my finger on it. I'm just saying, Sonic would never do this. Tails barges into our room and lets us know that Eggman has captured the Chaos Emeralds from the new Gaia Temple, so it seems this game is set sometime after Sonic Unleashed. And now we finally get to hear Sonic's voice in Sonic Omens.
Well, finally. I thought that he would last at least a month without his villainous plans. Come on, let's go, Tails. I think it's time we made a visit to our mustache friend.
Make sure you sound exactly like Jason Griffith. Sound like him or we'll end you. Yeah, the voice acting isn't all that spectacular, and the team seems they really only wanted Sonic to sound like he did in prior games, but trust me, the voice acting gets a whole lot worse. We ask about the Hyper Tornado, but Tails says it's not fully ready yet. However, he does say that we should get some practice in, as we've been gaining quite a few pounds since our last adventure. What the f is that supposed to mean? So we set off as we go through the tutorial stage. This game was made using the Sonic Infinity engine, and from my understanding is a framework made in Unreal Engine 4. Now, I don't have any knowledge on if the devs just used the gameplay provided by the Sonic Infinity engine or if they spruced it up a little bit, but I will tell you that I am having a good time with the main stages. I'm going to be the first Sonic fan to say this. I'm a fan of the boost formula if it's done right. And man, oh man, does boosting in this game feel good. Being able to sway around while boosting without limits is truly fun. However, I will say boosting in this game does have its drawbacks. With this game having its open space and freedom that most Sonic games don't have, you get a bit carried away and realize your boost gauge can run out rather quickly. Overgrown bogs don't go beyond the wall, but you never said to go below the wall. We finish up the stage, get a B for our efforts, and jump off a cliff. And that was Sonic Omens. Oh, nope, he's fine. Tails flies us to wherever the hell we're going, as we see the created characters from Sonic Forces, so now I'm sort of confused as to when this game actually takes place. Sonic then proceeds to, as the kids call it, Aura Farm, as we fly over the Master Emerald and get our first look at Knuckles, who gives us a truly meaningful piece of dialogue.
The storm is coming.
I might be out of a job soon. Tails proves his 300 IQ off as he flies through a fucking storm. But there's trouble afoot as gun robots start to fly right into the storm as well. The wind seems to be too much for Sonic as he's pushed off, but not for Tails for some reason. He just sort of falls off. Those two must have been zonked out as they wake up after the storm ends. Sonic's fall, however, seems to have been broken by Chip's bracelet, which also acts as a grappling hook. You know, from everyone's favorite Sonic game. But there's no time for napping as Sonic spots badniks roaming around the area. Time to run past them. Here we are at the first stage, Chow Paradise, where the focus is on introducing you to some of the enemies in the game as well as to teach you how to use the grappling hook. Hey, remember when I said that Amy text had no significance to the story?
Sonic! I'm so excited for our picnic today!
This game is trying so hard to cater to Sonic fans pre-Sonic Colors. Post-Sonic Lost World, I actually dig Amy's character redesign, how she's not just wanting to chase Sonic around and openly flirt with him. Not Sonic Omens though, let's make her annoying again. I forgot I wasn't playing Sonic Frontiers as I was trying to climb this mountain, but can't you blame me though, they look so similar. Get used to this being the only stage I get an S rank in.
Salutations, trespassers! Welcome to my humble and elaborately booby-trapped abode.
Jesus Christ, what now? Ho-ho! Salutations, trespassers! Welcome to my humble and elaborately booby-trapped abode!
I got the forklift certified guy to voice Eggman for $10. Why couldn't this game do the same? From my understanding, the Ouroboros team wanted to get their friends in on this game, so almost the entire voice cast is just that, their friend group. I'm no stinker to doing such a thing. I got my friends in on Sonic Fibbage, one of them even being the main host of the game. But I also took the time to reach out to people who have worked on voice projects using my own funds. So with a team dedicated to making this game way better than prior Sonic games, especially when they're making a profit out of it, getting a few notable Twitter VAs at the very least wouldn't have hurt. Tails tries to find some information about Eggman's whereabouts as Sonic is dying for a nap. But there's no time for snoozing as the Egg Dragoon from Sonic Unleashed returns with a vengeance as we get our first boss fight of the game. Here it's called the Dragoon E0. This boss fight is probably one of the easiest out of the entire game as we just need to dodge its attacks and then hit its huge green weak point when it allows us to. I promise you, we'll talk about some harder boss fights, but for now, nothing is really interesting about this fight, so we'll move on. Get used to this being the only boss stage I get an S rank in. Sonic calls the Egg Dragoon a badnik, and him saying that for some reason pissed me off, but the two find out that Eggman is heading towards the Grand Canyon. With the Hyper Tornado finished, the two set off to the Grand Canyon for Episode 2, Temple of Sands. Apparently, Eggman is somehow in the depths of Gun's Zone 99 base, and with Sonic and Tails not authorized to be at said base, Gun can track the two, so Sonic decides to go back on foot.
Eggman definitely got past the radars.
He's not wrong. After all, Tails literally said he's in the depths of their base. Here we are with the next stage, Area 99, and I swear, this song in this stage kind of sounds familiar. It's from the Cars 2 video game. Apparently, one of the composers of the game not only did a rearrangement of a licensed Disney video game, but they also filed copyright claims against other users who use their work. So now it's 2 for 3. You may profit off a Sega licensed property and you stole work from Disney while also making a profit. I hope to God I don't find anything Nintendo related in this game next. This stage isn't much to write home about either. There was like one line where Sonic said that Gun was tracking him and not Eggman, but like, you're on a military property without authorization. Of course they're gonna start hunting you down. In fact, they should be hunting the both of you down because Eggman's already deeper into the base than you are. But now that Sonic is at the temple, Tails needs to get to Sonic as well. The fact that he couldn't also ran on foot with Sonic still boggles my mind to this day. And guess what Tails' gameplay is compared to? Everyone's favorite Star Fox game. Here, we gotta fly the Hyper Tornado through...
Can you see where you're going?
I'm supposed to be making fun of you! Here, we gotta fly the Hyper Tornado through obstacles, and I would say you also gotta do puzzles, but the majority of the time you're just flying through more obstacles to shoot a switch, rinse and repeat, and you're done.
What are those creatures on the drawings?
300 IQ, and the kid's never seen a wolf before?
Hey! I think I see a good landing spot.
This time, landing gear is all set.
That's a perfect landing if I do say so myself. Sonic and Tails hurry to stop Eggman, and I swear to God, if they make one more comment about Eggman already being at the temple, I'm going to lose my mind. Eggman tries to grab the next emerald, however, they suddenly teleport from his grasp. At least that's what I thought happened before he got smacked out of existence. If Gun wasn't already pissed with Sonic being at their base, then they were probably livid with a giant snake destroying the temple beneath them. Sonic Omens gives us a neat little tree as the next stage is both a flying section and a boss fight. How fun. I've been trying to figure something out here. If Gun is being so obtuse with Sonic being at the base, why the hell are they not doing anything with this giant snake next to their base? At least have some form of dialogue talking about how Gun can't do anything and Sonic and Tails are authorized to take care of the damn thing. This boss fight sucked, by the way. I swear, you gotta perfectly time firing a missile when the Gnarl lunges at you, but you gotta be so precise with it or you won't have any time to dodge and thus you'll get hit. But we were able to randomly shatter the creature into a million pieces as we head after Eggman in search of the next emerald.
This chaos, just the first omen.
He said it! He said it! We head past the Grand Canyon and follow Eggman through a forest, and in order to stop him, Tails is literally going to aim and fire at Eggman. What a ruthless little bastard.
Hey, Tails! This area is protected by Gun. Be careful, buddy.
What the f isn't protected by Gun in this game? You know the drill. Gun shoots at Sonic and ignores Eggman. They take down Tails' plane and we run on foot into episode 3, White Jungle. One of the only reused Sonic levels, I believe. White Jungle comes from Sonic Adventure 2, only here we can utilize the boost mechanic instead of the adventure formula. Fun fact, this stage, as well as almost this entire episode, was the first to be released and implemented into Sonic Omens, which was originally called Sonic 2020. The only difference in this version is that apparently they had different voice actors, with Sonic's voice direction sounding more like Ryan Drummond to the voice of Sonic during the Sonic Adventure series. After the White Jungle stage, we immediately get whisked into the next stage, Tree Palace. And let me tell you, you know a stage is fun to play when you're not given a sense of direction as to where you need to go. You gotta hit switches in order to unlock springs and platforms to make it to the top of the tree. Only problem is, you follow the ring trail you're given, bounce on some springs, and aren't met with any switches. You can only find the spring you need to progress locked up. So you look all around the stage till you realize it's most likely underwater, so you gotta look all around underwater until you find it tucked away under some coral all the way on the opposite side of the tree. But after that, really, this stage is kind of a walk in the park. I think I say that for every stage in this game except for one, and we'll definitely get to that stage here soon.
The ancient ruins are inside this tree? That reminds me of something.
I swear to you, I have no clue what the hell he meant by this. Sonic grabs the Chaos Emerald and immediately sets off another booby trap. What a silly little asshole. The next stage here is Waterfall Chaos, and we gotta hurry and make it out of here before the water that's chasing us and go. We finished it. Sonic runs headfirst into some water only to find himself on the Hyper Tornado saved by Tails, and it looks to be in one piece. Tails is such a great engineer, but it's not a happy ending just yet as the Chaos Emerald explodes into a bright light, which causes Tails' plane to finally explode and also put Tails on permanent mute. As Sonic and Tails crash their plane, we head into a new character perspective as we play as Shadow for the first time in the game. Looks like in this stage, Shadow is training under Gun, and let me tell you, we're in for a real treat with Shadow's voice acting.
Get the best result if you stop annoying me.
Can't you tell I'm having fun? Now, even though I have played Sonic Omens, I did do a clean install of the game in order to get a better experience, and that includes starting with the new save file. Strangely though, with Shadow stages, I was supposed to be given tutorials on how to play as him, as Shadow has a unique moveset with his arsenal of chaos moves, but I never got them for some reason. On top of the fact that it's been a hell of a while since I last played Sonic Omens, it was certainly hard for me to figure out what I was supposed to do in these stages. Note to self, that's water. On this stage, it teaches us how to use the Chaos Spear, and hitting a certain number of enemies with the spear attack opens the door for us to advance. One thing I'll give Omens credit for, when you die, the game keeps your progress and has the doors automatically open for you. I accidentally found the Vector Easter egg and he's still in that computer room. It's been 20 years, man. Grow up. I swear, I think you're supposed to switch to a chaos control function to slow down time here, but the game never taught me that, so I feel like I'm doing hard mode at this moment.
Agents, move further around the room.
Is this machine really telling me where to go?
Yes, Shadow. It's your f***ing job. That's how jobs work. You're given a task and you gotta follow it. I continue to go through with Shadow's training when I find the gun truck, and the voiceover randomly talks about the truck like it's a museum exhibit, so I'm confused if this is a training room or a museum that Shadow is destroying. I hate how they made the switches look like bounce pads in this level, because I keep on trying to jump at it, but I actually have to hit it with a Chaos Shard instead. We finish the simulation and head to a boardroom meeting with the highest commanding officers, telling that Eggman has attacked another one of our sectors, and it's up to us to stop them. He was in the depths of one of your main bases. But before we leave, the mysterious entity from earlier tells us not to fail him, and Shadow puts on his pouty face as we head into episode 4, Shadow of Water. From my assumption, this episode takes place after Sonic tried to retrieve the Chaos Emerald and everything is purple. It's not a Shadow section of a Sonic game without a motorcycle and a Call to Rouge.
Why did you leave immediately? You could have come to my office and said hi.
Rouge, Rouge, I'm so excited to finally say hi to you. Rouge, I'm so excited to finally say bye to you. Why is she wearing a ninja suit when she's at her own office? Apparently, Rouge describes that the Chaos Emeralds were out of contact for such a long time that when someone touches one of them, they start to create that bright light we've seen earlier. With this game taking place after Sonic Unleashed, it must have been a huge gap of time before Sonic Colors takes place for the Emeralds to do that.
Shadow, are you listening to me?
I'm literally on a motorcycle destroying egg ponds. Can you stop trying to have sex with me? The next stage is called Moldy Jungle because water plus nature equals mold. In certain sections of this stage, instead of us being underwater, if we enter caves, Shadow will be unable to breathe due to the fog buildup. My only assumption is that this is poison fog because you can't fucking drown in fog. We're at the part of the game where, with this game being so open-ended, sometimes you're not really sure where to go or what to do. It sort of takes me a minute to click pieces together where you need to flip certain switches or to go to this place in the stage because there's not really an in-game guide to tell you where to progress. I also tried boosting in the water and immediately died. As we progress through the Find Eggman, Shadow starts to receive visions of Maria, which, if this is post-unleashed, shouldn't be clouding his mind anymore. He made peace with himself in Shadow the Hedgehog 2005. He shouldn't be having the trope of Maria is dead. Here's another vision of her. Shadow finds out that the emerald is already gone when he falls through the floor to find. This is literally the final boss from Nicktoons Battle for Volcano Island. We got ourselves another boss fight, this time with the oxygen meter throughout the fight, so we need to be fast in order to beat him. And it doesn't get much faster than this. All you gotta do is spam the homing attack button until we get to the second phase. And then spam it again. I think this is easier than Egg Dragoon now that I think about it. Rouge admits she's never played Battle for Volcano Island as Shadow finds Eggman on the run and decides to chase after him as we head into the next episode. The Exiled. We head back to where Sonic and Tails crash land, and Eggman, being the little goober he is, snatches the emeralds while Sonic is incapacitated. Instead of Shadow doing his fucking job and chase after Eggman, he wants to take the opportunity to smack talk Sonic. Shadow says that now, at this very point in time, Eggman has managed to get on Gun's bad side. He's a mad scientist. Sonic states that Gun's robots are too rusted to tell Eggman and Sonic apart. What? You can't possibly tell me without Shadow even explaining why Eggman is not being targeted that the high-tech robots from the world's most technologically advanced military can't f***ing tell the difference between a blue hedgehog and a 70-year-old man. Shadow says that something has awakened thanks to the emeralds disappearing and that he doesn't want to get distracted from his mission, which is why he's having this full-on conversation with Sonic at the moment. And they prove to each other who's the least distracted by having a fight. And Shadow also blames Sonic for Eggman getting away. You can chase him! You don't have to fight Sonic! This is literally on you! Before anything significant happens though, Tails fires a blast from his ship and causes a distraction that lets Sonic escape and Tails gets hurt. Well, now that Shadow wasted so much of his own time, we now have to catch up with Eggman as he escaped through a train. I'm 100% sure we're supposed to know how to use chaos control for these sections because there's like a fast-paced moving section here. But since I'm an expert at Sonic games, I managed to clear them without even knowing how to use chaos control. Oh, ladies. I found a crate that said Jackal Squad on it, so now I'm really unsure if this game takes place before Sonic Colors or Sonic Forces. So halfway through this stage, the game really changed my Chaos Spear ability to the Chaos Dash ability, and since the tutorials were broken for me, I'm sort of stuck on this platforming bit till I found out I could use Chaos Dash to teleport. You can tell by my expression that this is one of the best Sonic games of all time. We make it onto the train to catch up with Eggman when we see the blue blur himself also on the same train as us. You'd assume that with the game teasing us like it has been, we could be seeing an epic conclusion to a Sonic vs. Shadow fight that leads to Sonic winning and Shadow agreeing to stay out of Sonic's way, right? Or maybe Sonic and Shadow use the power of teamwork to stop Eggman. Here's an ugly model for Maria and a cruddy boss fight only with Sonic. Here we go! It's what every Sonic fan dreams of, a boss fight with Eggman himself. Sonic makes fun of Eggman's real name here, calling him Robotnik. Wasn't the reason Sonic kept on calling Eggman Eggman was to make fun of his body shape? Why are we just reverting to the Robotnik name now, but instead change it from butt to bot? This stage is where I found out that the boost in this game absolutely sucks. You run out of the boost gauge so fast in Omens, and the dev team really seemed to like that because they haven't changed it a bit since all these updates came out. With the game being open-ended and with the limited number of capsules, rings, and enemies, you don't get a lot in terms of boosting, so you're always left with the fact that Eggman is getting away and you're trying to find more stuff to get a boost meter, and then you get hit. It's a rinse and repeat cycle. And even if you hit Eggman, if you're out of boost, you're not getting a replacement to your gauge, so you hit Eggman, you fall behind, and you don't get hits in that deal a significant amount of damage. Anyways, we defeat Eggman, and Gun finally puts forth the effort of arresting and apprehending Eggman, all without firing a bullet at Sonic. However, Gun states that both Eggman and Sonic have violated the Mutual Protection Act, which means that Sonic and his friends can no longer be responsible for the emeralds. Gun is now in charge. But that doesn't matter in the slightest, as both the soldiers and the robots get attacked by the one who's been teased as the main villain throughout the game, Exiled. Exiled seems to have Gun under his control, which must mean that he somehow knows how to hack the robot army, which must mean that he was the one that was making the robots attack Sonic. It all starts to make sense. Before Sonic can do anything, Shadow attacks and knocks him out, showing that he aligned himself with Exile as Sonic passes out yet again. Sonic finds himself back at home, a dark and stormy atmosphere engulfing the area as Sonic heads towards a green light.
We made it. Isn't that true, my friend?
Chris Thorndike being in this game is absolutely hilarious to me. They tried to make a game where Sonic X is canonical. That's fucking rich.
Was that Sonic?
The Archie comics are more canonical than Chris Thorndike. No one likes Chris Thorndike in the slightest, and if you do, then you're a liar. Sonic wakes up after I truly assumed he was having a nightmare, waking up to both Tails and Eggman being on Eggman's bird boss we fought earlier. And Eggman confirms it. This game takes place both after Sonic Unleashed as well as after Sonic X. What a fucking timeline. He says that the Exiled is a Metarex who befriended Chris after he was able to become Gun's highest ranking leader thanks to his ability to travel between dimensions. The Exiled was impressed with Chris being able to bring peace to the world, and thanks to that long-lasting friendship and trust, he was able to gain access to Gun even after Chris's death. When Gun decided to go back to armed conflict though, the Exile saw that throwing away Chris's hard work for peace was something he couldn't stand to see, so while working alongside Gun, he wanted to destroy them from the inside. So with him recruiting Shadow, the Exile wants to manipulate time itself, and the only way for him to do that is by destroying all the Chaos Emeralds, causing the Exile not only to head back as far as the dawn of time, but also destroying all life on Earth. Let's just say Sonic is kinda pissed, so he offers to work alongside Eggman to find the Exiled, stop him, and bring peace back to the world. Son of a bitch, it's another plane section. Thankfully, this is the last plane mission in the game. I assume the devs also hated these levels, but they promised their Patreon one more level or something, I don't know. I'll just go ahead and say it. It makes no sense to me how, with Sonic and Eggman working together, that they all can't just ride out on the helicarrier, have Sonic land on the Exiled's base, and we skip these cruddy-ass plane levels. I'll say it right now, I absolutely hate the plane levels in this game. They take away from the fast-paced action of the game. The levels are really just here to pad out gameplay time, and there's no redeeming quality. Is that a fucking giant-ass bird? So since the Exile's been messing with the Chaos Emeralds, the ancient guardians of chaos have awakened from their slumber and are furious. We already met two of them and blew them the hell up. Here we meet the third ancient guardian, Ember. Ember is the only thing that's stopping us from reaching the Exile, so we have to battle them. And by that, I mean we gotta hide in these caves and make it to the goal ring. Shadow notices that Sonic is on his way, and knowing that his carefree nature is putting everyone in danger, because he's known for doing that, Shadow decides to put an end to his charades, but then Shadow receives another vision of Maria, only this time, she can attack him. I'm just saying, if my lifelong best friend started to randomly attack me after visions start to appear and you gotta destroy gun robots to defeat her, I think something might be going on. This is only the second hardest boss fight in the game, mainly for the fact that, for one, it sucks, and two, once Maria is at a quarter of health left, the gun robots you gotta defeat don't stay around long enough for you to defeat them, thus Maria's health stays the exact same no matter how many robots you destroy. Oh yeah, and there was a data mine leak where a dev wrote "bad girl" in Maria's underwear. What the f? This is a children's franchise. It took a day and a half, but I finally managed to beat this horrible boss fight. How the hell did I get an S rank on this? So from my understanding in this scene, Shadow only wanted to help Exiled because he promised he would let Shadow see Maria again. It turns out, Exiled is a bad guy. And Exiled kept that promise, since for the past 2 years, he's been the one that made Shadow see visions of Maria. That's awesome. So unless Exiled has telepathic powers that aren't explained, he could just randomly put visions of Maria into Shadow's head, even with his eyes closed. Oh wait, actually never mind. Shadow's wish was for the visions of Maria to stop. This game is fine! So instead of Exiled using Shadow to fight Sonic, who's probably the only person in the universe that can match him in speed and combat, Exiled says lol and fights Shadow instead. While they fight, Sonic and Tails make it to Exiled's base of operations with Ember still hot on their tail. Tails fires a rocket Fortnite style at Exiled's base with Sonic on it as Sonic infiltrates the base itself.
There won't be anything left to save if I don't speed up.
Oh, so that's what the boost button is for. We're on the home stretch as we infiltrate the Citadel of Lotus, the final stage before we fight the Exiled.
Fighting these guys brings back memories. Hey, buddy?
I hope to God you're not talking to me, because I've never seen these bastards before in my life. What a great stage this is, by the way. For the most part, this stage is easy, but these damn Metarex electric bastards are going to be the death of me. Twice in this stage, you gotta take out the Metarex enemies in order to progress, but their lightning attack stays in the stage for so long that if they trap you, there's no way out of it. The only way I was able to defeat them was just to boost into as many as I could. I thought it would have been cooler if I was able to just boost through this door, but apparently you gotta do the slow task of homing attacking each door. This is fun. Sonic looked perfectly fine when I finished the stage, but now he's just injured. I guess the lightning attacks were too much for him too.
All right, Exiled. Come on out. It's over.
Well, Sonic, it looks like you came on out because he was right f***ing in front of you the entire time. Thus, Exiled has gathered all of the Chaos Emeralds and proceeds to create a portal to the past while also trying to destroy the emeralds in the process. And Tails gets eaten by a bird. Sonic tries to stop Exiled, however, a force field prevents him from doing so. He breaks it anyways though, stealing one of the emeralds to prevent the time portal from being created. He absolutely gets flung by Exiled's hair though. Talk about a bad hair day. Exile admits to Sonic that he doesn't want to go back in time to reunite with Dark Oak. I'm not explaining who that guy is, and the rest of the Metarex. Rather, he just wants to go home. Shadow probably got his ass whooped by Exile, but fret not, because he's able to aim a Chaos Spear at the portal better than I can at a Switch. With Shadow's help, the Chaos Emeralds, I guess, get absorbed into the bracelet Chip gave them. Jesus fucking Christ, they didn't even try with Chip's voice.
I will always protect you.
With the Chaos Energy, Sonic is able to transform into Super Sonic.
Consider this your bad omen.
But before Sonic can do anything, Exiled smacked him so hard that Sonic de-transforms as we head into the final episode, The Last Omen. Now we get to hear my favorite line in the game.
You're no different than Dark Oak.
It's my favorite because it plays every single time I die on this fight. So you would think you would need to collect 50 rings, but you'll soon find out that either there isn't enough or you'll somehow get hurt in trying to get enough rings to transform. So what you're supposed to do is you either need to boost or attack the water bubbles around in order to fill up that dreaded boost gauge, or by attacking Exiled's minions when they eventually appear. Not gonna lie, when I very first played this final boss fight, I was already 4 hours into this game and this fight was kicking my ass. Now that I'm 3 years older than my 2022 self, while this fight is still tremendously a pain in the ass and I recommend not a soul to play this, I was able to make it to the next stage. Not gonna lie, this cutscene here is pretty cool. They really put their Patreon budget into this one. Still though, Exile seems to prove himself to be the dominant one. He got Sonic under his toes. The second phase here, you gotta dodge Exile's attacks as your boost gauge slowly fills up, and once it does, you can bring havoc onto Exile and finally beat Sonic Omens. The result screen hangs here for a little bit. Sonic finishes off Exile and Sonic breaks the chip bracelet to set the Chaos Emeralds free. Happy endings all around. Tails is happy, Sonic is happy, Shadow finally f***s Rouge, and we find out that the game takes place right before Sonic Colors. F*** me. And then, at the very end of it all, Sonic visits Chris Thorndyke's grave as we fade to black. And that was Sonic Omens. This game was not fun. There was so much unexplained stuff that happened throughout this story. Like, why was Eggman just able to get away with so much stuff while Gun was mainly focused on attacking Sonic? And why didn't they arrest Sonic as well? At least him being in cuffs before Exile appeared would have sufficed. What the hell is Exile doing with the hallucinations of Maria with Shadow for 2 years? What happened prior to 2 years? Was Shadow the Hedgehog 2005 taking place 2 years ago before the events of Omens? That can't be the case because the story happens after Sonic Unleashed. And why the hell did Rouge want to f*** so bad? I think the worst part about all of this is that they use their funds from Patreon and other forms of donation services to work on a project that I'm sure they'll be way more passionate about than they were with Sonic Omens. Omens was made out of spite, not passion. I, for one, am super happy that Sonic Omens is done and over with. I didn't want to delve too much into the controversial side of the game, but I still need to give credit where credit's due. This is a fan project after all, and what better way to do that than to add another Sonic Omens question into Sonic Fibbage?
In Sonic Omens, QR codes can be found in each of the game's levels, and when scanned, redirects you to... No, I'm sorry. I can't do this. I'm out.
No, I know it's non-union. You'll see the asterisk on my contract. Did you not read? It's Omens. It says Sonic Omens. That's the one f***ing rule. I'm over it.
I think the answer was just their Patreon.